Shalom Aleichem, Erev Tov. We're here with the weekly shir, and the preceding the weekly shir in the Dvar Malchus, we have the weekly story. And this week we see that everything is connected. Everything is connected. We're coming from the Yom HaIlula, the day of the passing of Aaron HaKohen, who was Oyev Sholem, Reidev Sholem, Oyev Esabrias, Umekarvan Latera. His main thing, he was outstanding in the concept of bringing peace between one Jew and his fellow Jew, between husband and wife. And this is exactly the concept of the ultimate Avas Yisrael. When we're talking about a person that goes out of his way or goes out of her way in order to go into bring even one Jew the closer to Torah and mitzvahs. And first and foremost, as the Baal Shem Tov says, the neshama comes down for 70, 80 years in order to go to do one mitzvah for another fellow Jew, begashmius, and how much more beruchnius. In other words, first and foremost, we're talking about doing a mitzvah in the physical, mundane field of what we can do for our fellow Jew. And afterwards, specifically, the Baal Shem Tov goes on to say how much more so when we're talking about a spiritual favor, a spiritual chesed, a spiritual kindness. Oh, Baruch Hashem, had the opportunity to do a spiritual kindness, to allow someone to join into the Shia. Baruch Hashem. So, since this week specifically, from we already started the 3 weeks, but we started the 9 days, and we know that in the 9 days, in the 3 weeks, we add in the learning of Hilchos Beis HaBechira. So one of the main things that we see, the difference between the first Beis HaMikdash and the second Beis HaMikdash, was the fact that there were 5 things that were missing in the second Beis HaMikdash, together with the Aron HaKodesh, with the holy ark. There were 5 things altogether that were missing. One of them is one of the 5 is the Urim V'Tumim. The Urim V'Tumim is the gold plate upon which was written Hashem's name, and this was placed in between the Choshen Mishpat, the garment of the Kohen Gadol, and through this we were able to go and to ask of the Kohen Gadol different questions that pertain to the nation, to go out to war, not to go out to war, and so on. But here, when the second temple, when the second Beis HaMikdash came about, this was one of the 5 things that was hidden, that was concealed, and nevertheless, the Kohen Gadol continued to wear the breastplate, the Choshen HaMishpat, because it's one of the eight exclusive garments that the Kohen Gadol is obligated to wear during the time that he's serving in the temple in the Beis HaMikdash, and therefore he had to wear it. The only thing was, how would we say today? He was the battery. The battery wasn't there. the spiritual battery of the Urim and Tumim that brought about the ability to go into to receive the input of the Shechina, of the divine presence, was not there, and therefore there was a great chisoron as far as the spiritual status of the Beis HaMikdash was concerned. But nevertheless, we see that in the second Beis HaMikdash, and the Rebbe brings it and stresses this, there were 2 virtues in the second Beis HaMikdash that didn't exist in the first Beis HaMikdash. The first thing is that it was larger. Why was it larger? Because in the Heichal, in the place where we had the Kodesh and the Kodesh HaKodashim, so there was a doubt in regard to when it was built, the second Beis HaMikdash, where exactly did the Ara with the curtain, the pareches that divided between the holy and the holy of holies, where exactly was it meant to be placed? And an additional amma an additional amma, portion of space that was added between the Kodesh and the Kodesh Kadoshim, and this amma had two curtains, one at the beginning of it and one at the end of it, and therefore the Heichal was a one amma larger, wider, and this made the entire Beis Hamikdash in its state larger than the first Beis Hamikdash. Second of all, we see that the first Beis Hamikdash only stood for 410 years. Masha'enken, when we see the second Beis Hamikdash, so it also in time it stood more years. It stood 420 years, and thus the Rebbe comes and brings us the conclusion that we will be receiving the third and the eternal Beis Hamikdash, that will be a Beis Hamikdash Mishulash. It will be a Beis Hamikdash that will have the virtues of the first Beis Hamikdash that didn't exist in the second Beis Hamikdash. These are the five things that were missing: the Aaron and the Urim V'Tumim, the Aaron's staff, and the jar of manna, and the ashes of the red heifer. But at the same time, not only will we have the first five that were missing in the second Beis Hamikdash, but we'll also have the virtue of the second Beis Hamikdash, which was greater in size. So it'll be also great in size, and it'll also be great in time, as far as the existence of the third Beis Hamikdash, because it'll be the third and the eternal Beis Hamikdash. It will be existing Be'ezras Hashem forever, and this should be the case. Teichef miyad mamish mamish mamish. People come and say, okay, so if we don't have the Urim V'Tumim, so what do we do today? How do we get along? So in every generation, we have a Rebbe, and we go and we write the Rebbe, and we receive answers, what to do, what not to do. Shaul the king, before he became king, so he asked Shmuel Hanovi, the prophet, he asked where the donkeys of his father went astray, they were lost. So he came and he asked a very mundane question to ask a prophet, right? He wasn't asking about whether or not they should go out to war. He was not even a king yet. He asked, could you help me find my father's donkeys? Shaul's father's donkeys. What do we learn from this? We learn from this that when we approach the Nasi Hador, when we approach the leader of the generation, so we don't only approach with spiritual questions, but specifically, and even more so, we approach with mundane questions. This story that we're going to be sharing tonight has to do with the knowledge of obtaining the blessings and the advice of the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach in our day and age. Even though we don't have perhaps the ability to see the Rebbe with our eyes of flesh and blood, but to go and to seek the Rebbe's blessing and advice, we do have the ability. And how do we do it? We have Urim V'Tumim. What are the Urim V'Tumim of our generation? This is the writing to the Rebbe in the Igros Kodesh, the Rebbe's holy letters. And we know hundreds and thousands of people daily receive the Rebbe's blessings and advice in all fields of life, whether they have to do with family matters, with medical matters, or with parnasa, with livelihood. And we see that the Rebbe's blessings come to fruition on a very good and revealed basis. There were two Jews recently that traveled to the Rebbe. They went to 770, and these two Jews, one of them is a father of a soldier, lo aleinu, that perished in the war. He was killed in the war. And his story is incredible. His story of the son was incredible. He went out and he went to protect all the soldiers of his regiment that were there in Gaza, that were in Gaza, and he was very successful, and he was able to go and to save many, many Jews until he was traveling to go and to save more soldiers. And he encountered the Machablim, the terrorists, Yimach Shmam v'Zichram, and they took his life. Hashem yinkoim damai. But his father decided that he wanted to go and to write a Sefer Torah in honor of his son that was taken away. And a Sefer Torah, it's not simple to go. It's a very expensive enterprise. And so together with the writing of the Sefer Torah, he decided to go and to do the fundraising as well. And he was instructed to go to New York, and over there he'll be able to find many Jews that would participate in this project. He went to New York, and he went to do the fundraising for the Sefer Torah, and he came into 770. When he came into 770, so he came with a friend that escorted him. He didn't want to go alone. From Eretz Yisrael, he came with a friend of his, a very good friend. Many Bachrim that sit in 770, they take upon themselves also the responsibility to go and to be the you would call it the tour guides of Jews that come from all over the world, and not only Jews, but also lahavdil non-Jews that come from all over the world, from all over the United States and all over the world, literally, in order to come and to see the Chabad Lubavitch headquarters, the place where the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach sits. And here they went, and there was a bacher that's telling the story. He received these two prominent Jews that arrived, and he went and he gave them the tour, and he showed them around 770, around Crown Heights. And as is also custom, when people come back to 770, so they have time that is designated in order to write a letter to the Rebbe through the Igros Kodesh for whatever they might please or whatever they might need. And these two Jews, they were very happy to have the opportunity to write the Rebbe. And the Bacher told them, go to the shelves and to pick a one of the Igros Kodesh, one of the volumes of the Rebbe's letters, and they washed their hands, they gave tzedakah, they did netilas yadayim and afterwards they gave tzedakah. They wrote their letters, and the Bacher instructed them that after they take the volume, they choose the volume, they should take their letter, put it inside, and say Yehi Adonenu Mereinu v'Rabbeinu Melech Ha'Moshiach Leilam Voed 3 times, and then they'll open up the volumes to see what the reply of the Rebbe is. They were they listened to the instructions 100%, and they took out from different places, from different shelves. They took out Igros Kodesh. There's a very wide assortment in the Baruch Hashem in 770. And they opened up the volumes. They put in the letters. They said the Achrozos HaKodesh, the holy proclamation of Yehi Adonenu 3 times. And then they came to the Bacher, for the Bacher that gave them the tour, in order to allow him to give them the further instruction on how and what the Rebbe's reply is in their letters. The Bacher said that he was literally shocked. Why was he shocked? Because these two friends, they went to different shelves. They took out their volumes of the Igros Kodesh, but each of them took out the exact same volume of Igros Kodesh. I believe it was I believe it was volume Yud Zayin, the Gematria Tev. And if that wasn't enough, each of the Bachrim, each of these guests opened their volume at the exact same page in the same volume, but obviously separate volumes. Each one took out their own volume from the shelves, and the contents of the letter. The contents of the letter obviously was the same contents of the same letter, but the contents of the letter was in regard to the holy project that they have taken upon themselves. The Rebbe gives them a blessing that it should go from Michael El Chayil, it should go from strength to strength, and it should be successful more and more on a good and revealed basis. And the Rebbe says not only this, but the Rebbe also says that the Rebbe will also give his participation in the project, and they were positive. They were sure with no doubt that the Rebbe is talking about the writing of the Sefer Torah that they set out in order to go and to dedicate to this person's son. And then the Rebbe says something very, very out of line. The Rebbe says that you will go with success until you will encounter the ultimate nitzachon, the ultimate victory. In other words, again, we see how the letter is relating to the situation here and now, because we're still, Rahman al-Islam, we're still in the midst of the war. And since we're still in the midst of the war, we are asking, we are looking, and this is what we want. We want the ultimate victory. The Rebbe gives them this bracha that they should go from strength to strength with their holy project until they will reach the ultimate victory. We're talking about a project. So how exactly does it come to the ultimate victory? This is already another matter. But the fact of the matter is that this is exactly what the Rebbe blessed them, and this is exactly where they were sure, they had no doubt whatsoever, that the Rebbe is definitely giving them a blessing for their project, and the Rebbe is giving a blessing for the Nitzachon Gomer, the ultimate victory here in Eretz Yisrael, and the Eibusher should help. As the Rebbe writes in this week's Dvar Malchus, the Rebbe writes that all that we are waiting for, that's what the Rebbe says, all that we are waiting for is for one more Jew to shout out and to cry, Ad Mosai, till when? How long will Hashem keep us without being able to see the Geula, Hashlema V'Amitis, the true and the complete redemption? Yehi Ratzon, it should be Teichef Umiyad Mamish, it should be immediately now, on a good and revealed basis, with happiness and joy of the heart, and Menuchas HaNefesh, Menuchas HaGuf, the tranquility of the mind and the body, and it should be on a good and revealed basis, Teichef Umiyad Mamish, Mamish, Mamish. Yehi Adoneinu, Moreinu V'Rabbeinu, HaMelech Ha'Moshiach, Chai V'Kayim Le'olam Bo'ed. Amen.